Some of you may know and some of you may not know. I have two systems in my setup, a black system and a silver system. They're not exact mirrors of each other, but they get used pretty much the same. Silver system I try to make vintage as possible, but mostly it's used different products. When I buy new, it's not very often. 85 to 95% of my setup is used stuff. And what I'm going to buy here is no different. I'm replacing a Technics SH8015. And if you look at the market, it looks, well, pretty expensive. You go vintage, you go modern. Equalizers, graphic equalizers especially, are tough to come by. And if you look at the videos that people make on them, again, most likely you'll find controversies about whether or not you should even have an EQ. I don't really care about that. I care about my EQ. I need an EQ because I fix records that don't sound great. They'll sound great in my system with an EQ. Cassettes that don't sound great, with an EQ, again, you can improve the sound of whatever you're listening to. So, you know, basically what I'm trying to find is different types of things that people recommend for, and there's not a whole lot. Now, if you go to shopgoodwill.com, you'll see some equalizers, but I'm looking for specifically a silver graphic equalizer. So when I looked at the used market here on shopgoodwill.com, nothing really came up. A lot of black stuff, you know, some silver, but it wasn't graphic, and super overpriced. So I decided, hey, let me go back to Amazon. So I had a REQ before in black. I sold it for my Vector that I got now in the setup for the black system, but silver is harder to come by. So I'm looking on Amazon, and Amazon basically has studio graphic equalizers. Nothing really for an audio setup at home. So what I wanted to do is see, hey, maybe I can find what I used to have, the Rockville REQ 42 in silver this time, and, you know, see if I can get it at a good price. Well, lucky for me, I was able to do that. I had a $25 gift card, and I bought a already used setup here from Amazon. It cost me under 25 bucks out the door after my $25 gift card. And well, it arrived. Now I'm not going to bore you with opening this thing up and slowly pulling this stuff out, but I just want to show you the process to see how they package it. Of course, the instructions in the ears if you want to rack mount it. But here we are pulling it out here, and I'm going to go ahead and set it down on the table for you. Well, now that we have it out, let's show you guys some features and to see how it actually works. Not a whole lot of science behind it. There's a power button. There's the different buttons here for the different outputs that inputs, that you want to use. It's got a 21 bands on each channel, so there's quite a few things you can do with this thing. It even has a 3.5 millimeter input there, so you could actually hook up a phone or something like that. You know, a lot of you guys like to see the film come off of the actual screen, so I'll go ahead and give you guys a bone and let you guys enjoy this. Eventually, I think it took me a little while to do this. There it goes. Beautiful. Again, it looks gorgeous, guys. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed the one that I had, the black one, but until it was time to upgrade, it was easier to upgrade that. There's no wall wart. It's all internal. There. Here's the different inputs. We have DVD, tape, tuner, and aux with the receiver in. I'm going to be putting the switcher hooked up to the aux. So that way I set this thing to aux and just leave it there, and it's able to equalize everything I have. So let's show you guys here what I'm working with now and what I'm trying to replace. There is the Technics SH8015. And you can see I can turn it on. Only one of the channels lights up. And I'm not even sure the equalizer works, guys. I move these things back and forth, up and down, and I don't see any movement. I don't see any change in sound. So instead of getting this worked on, I figured, why not just get the REQ, stick it in the system. It's going to look good, and it's going to sound good. Now this is glorious, but I'm going to go ahead and switch this thing out. I'm going to try to speed it up so you guys don't get too bored. So I'm actually going to take the Technics out of the system. It's actually sitting on top or underneath my LED blue tube WD, and we're going to just swap these things out now. A lot of stuff here, a lot of wires. I gotta clean these wires up, guys. It looks terrible. I'm actually not very proud of the way it looks. That power supply actually has to be pulled down and just clean this thing up. I'll probably end up doing that here closer to the spring. I just don't have the energy to do it after work. So here we go. Of course, it's dirty. Time to clean that thing up. See if we can tidy up here a little bit. I know looks terrible. There we go. Clean that up since we're going to be putting a new equalizer down there, and we want it to look as sharp as possible. So ended up finding out that it's not exactly fitting perfectly, but we'll figure that out a little bit. Hooking up the receiver there. Actually, that's not hooked up properly. There we go. And actually I had to pull it back out of the system because the feet were too big. So I'm going to have to go ahead and take these things off. I'm going to have to substitute them with some smaller feet, and this is the way it works out. Just unscrewing these bad boys. I like to save them just in case you end up selling the unit. You want to make sure it still has this feet available. I keep the rabbit ears and the feet together. That way, you know, end up sending it to somebody or selling it down the line. You have it all. Now I'm going to go ahead and use some pads. Very, very, very good pads that I use as feet. They're rubber. They are excellent when it comes to adhering to glass. Very good. Gorilla Grit. Check it out if you guys want to pick it up. But I put low profile feet on the places where there was already feet. Now I don't try to cover the screws that are there. Here's what they look like, in case you're wondering. There's 4 left. Perfect. That's what I need. Now, you don't want to put them. I'm going to put this first one right where the screw was, and that's not the way you want to do it. Yeah, that's not right. You want to put it next to, closest to the corner as possible, outside of where the screw was, and that's not great either. That's on the inside. Hopefully on the other two. I actually do it on the outside. Yeah, there we go. Outside. It could have been closer to the corners, which is what you should really do when it comes to these. That way you can have these feet and the other feet at the same time. If you ever want to take them off, you can just plug these in instead of having to remove these feet, because they are adhered very well to the actual unit. This shows you guys the levels are moving towards the beat of the music. It's not that it doesn't work, it's that if people say they don't work on this REQ42, they're not using it properly. That's just the case. So let me back up a little bit, show you guys what it looks like in the setup. Just you guys can see the levels are moving, the record's playing, and the music's coming loud and clear on the speakers. Yeah, I think it looks pretty sharp here, integrated into the system. Again, that's to each his own, but I think I love it. And there it is, guys, integrated into the system. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing, guys. Channel's growing a little bit, little by little. Until next time, from my listening chair.